What's up, guys? Welcome back for some Glorious Smite. And this is a video I said I would do for a while. I know at least one person did request this, and I do know Fatalis is quite popular with newer players, and that is Frostburn versus Fatalis. Now this is outside of the realm of 1v1. I know a lot of people in the 1v1 who like to play 1v1 kind of like Frostalis, where you skip boost and just get both. But we're talking about if you've only got space for one, what one should you get? You know, whether you be a hunter, a warrior, an assassin, whatever. So obviously I prefer Frostbound, and I think I need to defend that and explain why. So what we'll do is go through what each of them do, compare them, and reward points based on what one does it better, and we'll see who gets more points at the end. I think that's fair. So in terms of effect, right, they both do similar things or allow you, the player, to do the same type of thing. Frostbound slows down the enemy movement speed, allowing you to shoot them easier and give them less chance to escape. Fatalis gives you a little bit of movement speed and removes your on hit punishment, right? So basically if you're firing, left click, use your gamepad, whatever, to shoot, or AA in general, you slow down, you get the movement speed penalty. Fatalis, if you land your autos, removes that, allowing you to keep up with them if they're just straight running, so you can keep shooting at them, or in a boxing scenario would allow you to juke a little bit more effectively. So do the same kind of thing. Fatalis allows you to keep pace, and Frostbound slows down their pace to yours. So it's the same thing. It basically allows you to shoot each other, better, or shoot them better. So I'd say it's a draw, right? They both allow you to do the same type of thing, different but similar enough that I would say it's equal. So we've got to look beyond that. We'll look at the DPS factor. Fatalis gives you attack speed, Frostbound gives you power. It might depend on the build, but for me personally, I believe Fatalis is slightly higher in terms of raw DPS output, because attack speed should overvalue 25 power most of the time, especially if you've got something like Ken size or crit and you've got more autos going off. It should allow for slightly higher DPS, so it's similar but maybe slightly edged in Fatalis' favour. But then we've got to look at the defensive stats, right? Fatalis doesn't really have any defensive stats. You could argue the 10 movement speed might help you at some point, but I doubt it. Frostburn gives you 300 health, which is quite a lot. It could allow you to survive when usually you would die. If you actually look at the Scumbag Apollo game I played, I actually lived thanks to the health from Frostbound. So it's definitely useful, it definitely helps. But Frostbound also comes with an attack speed slow, right, reducing the enemy's DPS. So while you may not have as high DPS, you're reducing the incoming DPS, giving you two forms of defensive abilities in this item. That's definitely in Frostbound's favour. Then looking at the price, they're both within a bracket of kind of low mid, maybe even mid-rangey kind of items. But Fatalis is slightly cheaper, so we give it to Fatalis. And then we've got to look at itemizations that counter it. This is unfortunately only for Frostbound. You could argue this is both a positive and a negative. Frostbound is countered by Wingblade. Now, that means if you hit them this low, they're going to speed up and run away. And you may think, well, that's clearly a negative. But is it? Because if you can proc something really easily with Frostbound, it puts it on cooldown, allowing for someone else to engage with the slow, and you can proc it with just an auto. That can also be a positive. It really depends on your comp and what you need. It's a positive or a negative. For me, it's actually a positive. I like the fact that it procs it, because it sets up things to be really easy. Like imagine if an auto could pop Magi's. Like if you just equipped a certain item, the bubble popper, you got the bubble pop item, you just shoot it and the Magi's pops. That'd be really strong. So for me it's a positive, but it can also be a negative. So I don't think that's really, it's hit and miss, it depends. It's also countered by beads and Aegis. Aegis cleanses, soft CC, beads cleanses all CC, bar knock up if you're already knocked up. But again, that's a positive and a negative. They're willing to waste the beads and Aegis on your Frostbound. That's a positive for me, right? That can be nothing other than a positive. But at the same time, you could maybe have killed them, and that really might have saved them. Where the beads is unlikely to do anything against the Fatalis, and I guess it could technically help against Fatalis, but again, it's hit and miss. So again, I think it's a kind of 50-50 thing. It really depends on the situation. I'm not going to give any points out for that. I don't think that's fair. So that's basically looked at the entire items. And while it does look like Frostbound just barely nicked it, just by that little kind of fraction of a point, there's still one big main reason why I prefer Frostbound. And it goes back to what the initial effect is. Fatalis allows you to keep up with the enemy. Frostbound slows the enemy down. Do you understand the difference? If I hit someone with Frostbound, they move slower. Everyone in my team now has a slower enemy to chase after. If I hit someone when I've got Fatalis, I keep up, the rest of my team fall behind. Essentially, when I've got Frostbound, my entire team gets Frostbound. They all gain the benefits of the initial effect, because the enemy is slower for them too. If I have Fatalis, it's up to me. Team's not going to get any bonus out of that. It's just me. There's no aura on that Fatalis. They don't get removal of the movement speed penalty to it. Nope, just me. And it's that key difference that pushes Frostbound over the edge. It makes it the fucking glorious cunt item of choice. Now, for the sake of balance, I'll make a final case for Fatalis. You could argue that with Fatalis you could forgo boots and buy something else. The reason why this is harder to justify and less of a kind of point worth making is the fact that not every class can do that. Hunters don't really have a Stonecutting Sword. They can buy Stonecutting Sword, but they don't get the passive, and therefore it's kind of irrelevant on them, because the passive is definitely one of the stronger points of that item. And then again, you also need to stick to the enemy, so if they've got Stonecutting Sword plus boots, you're slower than them again. You need to be faster than them, or at least equal, preferably slightly faster, so that kind of falls apart. So, well, you could make a case for that, it's quite weak, and overall kind of irrelevant. So yeah, for me, Frostbound wins. Of course, individual god also makes a massive fucking impact, can't forget that. Gods like Kali, they probably want the Fatalis. Gods like Freya can't buy Frostbound. She really likes attack speed for a 1-2. Yeah, she really wants it. Even Bakasura mostly wants it. You can justify Frostbound over Fatalis on Bakasura. If anyone says different, they're called retarded, and you can proceed to ignore them. Don't waste your time arguing with retards, people. Get you nowhere. Trust me, I've tried. So, yeah, overall for me, again, Frostbound wins. Individual gods, of course, you can edge towards Fatalis, but that's kind of a niche thing. I think in an overall item versus item key strength, Frostbound is overall stronger. If you disagree, feel free to let me know, and feel free to let me know why. I want good justification for why you disagree. Weak reasoning will get you fucking nowhere here. If you got weak reasoning, fuck off back to Reddit. So guys, also enjoy this. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you all next time.